Hi, everybody, and welcome to this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3 and program number 1 for the year, sports year 24-25. So thanks for joining us. And joining me, by the way, is the athletic director at CHS. Hi, Andrea.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. It's good to see you.
Haven't seen you in a while.
And Ron Wiley. No, it has been. Ron Wiley. We worked together on a few Spartan events over the years.
Just a few.
Just a few. Well, the headline is the Spartans won their opener against Richmond.
Yep, they were victorious on Friday night, beating Richmond 26-20. A little bit of a close call there, I think, towards the end of the game. I was telling Ron before the game before we started this that I don't usually get a chance to see a whole lot of the game because dealing with crowd control and everything else that goes on. But I did see a couple of plays, and I did hear the fireworks a couple of times, so I know we had some touchdowns. Again, I hate to say that, but Ron probably has more insight on the game than probably I do. He had a first-hand view of that.
Yeah, it was a great victory for the Spartans. One where they showed just great, the offensive line, the defensive line were fantastic, but the way that they held Richmond off at the end with the adversity of the many cramps that they had. I mean, I started cramping up watching them. I
saw some of the boys today with the heat this week. I was like, are you guys drinking your water? Make sure you're hydrating. And I don't think they think about that because last week it was cool. I mean, every practice was cool by the time they got finished. So I don't think they had the thought process of I need to have Gatorade and water.
It was about 80 degrees, I think, at kickoff.
Yeah, I think so.
It was really, really warm.
Yeah.
Sure, the coach's responsibility to see if those youngsters stay hydrated.
And they do. They do. The coaches are always talking about hydration. I know our trainer, Tori, she talks about hydrating. The kids are carrying jugs of water around the school. I think it's just they used a lot. I mean, some of our kids are playing both sides of the ball. So, I mean, they're on the field more than they're off. So hydrating is harder for them, I think, sometimes.
26-20 was the final score, and that was a very good victory for CHS, a great season opener.
Yeah, great way to open, way to get started. Got a big game not next week, this week.
Friday.
With Franklin County. They had a great victory for their home opener. So I think it's a great start, I guess, for the season, and hopefully they take it from there. I mean, we played well against East Central. I went down to the scrimmage last Friday, and I think it went better than what most people expected. I don't know that anybody really knew what to expect. I mean, you had a whole new offense and almost defensive line, a lot of younger kids out there. I think our kids are small. But they're getting through blocks and they're finding ways to make the tackle.
Yeah, well, and that's what impressed me was the fact that our offense wasn't relying solely on the run, wasn't relying solely on Micah. We had Keller who did well, and then a few other guys came in. But the line was really good. They knew their assignments. They knew what to do. They were opening up lanes that created great running room for the backs to get through and get 4 or 5 yards on a run. And we had very few losses on plays, which was great to work with.
And I think some of that too is the technology piece that they're using. My first year here, we had huddle. Coaches were trying to figure that out, and I think now that they can get huddle and they can break down film from other schools, they can start to see what those plays are and kind of what to expect and what those players are going to look like and the routes they're going to run. So I think they can prepare themselves a lot better, going into games this season than what they have in the past.
Richmond had a very unusual, Fran, this was something that you and I had never seen before when we did all of our games, and they had a very unusual formation that I'm not quite sure I've ever seen for their offensive. And they had a guy, probably the first two and a half series that they had, and he wasn't even listed as their quarterback, get the ball, the Alexander kid. And they did a lot of misdirections, and it fooled us, but not our defense. And our defense held strong there for the first two and a half quarters.
It's a great start. We have some highlights. TV3's was there, and some highlights from the ball game with Richmond. That's what's right now.
As you see, I mean, look at this, just a nice lane to run in. I mean, that was beautiful right there. Keller goes, or no, that was Flanagan. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But right, look at this, just the walks in.
It's a real team victory.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, they play, I don't know, it's just a different vibe when you see this team
right
this year. Yeah.
I believe that was a fourth down, if I remember right. That was a fourth down in the third quarter right there, and that was our last score with 7:19 to go. And we had stopped Richmond. They got the ball, and good. Riley Keene, for a sophomore, he's got a lot of speed. And two, the poise of staying in a pocket like that. But this is when it got very interesting as Richmond ran the ball back to about that yard line to that next kickoff, and that's when they started getting a little momentum. They scored right there for the first time, and then they tried an onside kick, didn't work, but then they stopped us for the first time because we were scoring every time that we had the ball. Then we fumbled. They got the ball deep in our territory, and they scored right here. But this is when we started cramping up, Fran. This is when we started cramping up, and we had so many guys that were just cramping. This catch right here, I don't know how this kid caught it. I mean,
there's a hand there. Keene had a hand in there. Yes, he did.
You just got to tip your hat to that kid.
Yeah.
Well, leg cramp's a real problem in hot weather.
Oh, yeah.
It is, and I think at some point during the game that was an issue because the clock just kept stopping.
Yeah.
I feel like the second half of that game lasted longer than a normal football game would last altogether.
It did. That third quarter was just whizzing by because we were controlling the clock, and then it just here was the interception that ended the ball game, and again Richmond had all the momentum to that point, and Micah comes down with the interception right there and seals the deal for the Spartans. And again, the fact that Richmond was coming back, they had all the momentum in the world, but we held tight. We didn't break. We bent a little bit, but we didn't break. And Coach Lynch has to feel good about his boys with that victory and the way that they held on at the end. And there's, as you talked about, the fireworks.
There's the fireworks. I heard those and I saw those.
Yeah.
I did see the last play. I did see the interception. So that was one of the few plays I got to see. But no, I thought they played well. Again, I think they're going to surprise some teams. The size is going to surprise them. We don't have the
quickness.
6'4", 300-pound lineman. We have, probably no lineman over 300 pounds out there. So we got to play smart.
Well, that and our receiving core is not huge, but they ran some good routes. There was a route that one of the Whitaker twins ran that was wide open, and Ryland just missed him. I mean, that was it. But our passing game was very good. I think that might have been the only incompletion that we had the night. But no, I think we had one more. But for the most part, our passing game was really good too.
Yes.
That was very, very good.
Which is not. I mean,
it's
in the
not
past
a forte
we've been
of ours.
we've been a running team. I know last year we ran a lot, but
And we passed on 3rd and long to get a first down a couple of times. So, there was a lot of confidence in the offense in the passing game there that Coach Lynch showed the faithful and his team.
Sure.
So, a very, very good game for the Spartans to have that first victory. Not any IAC opponent. Obviously, that's coming up this week against Franklin County. That's
tough.
It's going to be in their house.
Hey, we have a very tough conference, and we play all of our conference schools. So, something to get us prepared.
You mentioned East Central, and they weren't ranked for the first time in forever, but Lawrenceburg was. But East Central.
I think a lot of Lawrenceburg's ranking was from last year, going to the the state championship, being the state runner-up, and then bringing back quite a few kids.
Yeah. But then East Central worked out on them.
Yeah, they did.
So it's going to.
So when you have 99 kids on your sideline, you have a lot of kids to pick from. So if you have cramps, you can bring in number 2, 3, and 4.
And baseball is going to be tough. So I mean, we have a loaded conference, but that toughness of that schedule really, as this is your third year, this is Coach Lynch's third year, and I know that he loves this program. I mean, he's a Connersville, born and bred, and so hopefully these kids start buying into the program and start coming up because he's a good coach and a good man.
Good, absolutely.
Fran, you remember the times that we used to? I think it was a Richmond game where there was a couple. I forget how long ago it was, where there was the kickoff that they ran back, and then we kicked it off, or they kicked it off, we ran it back.
Yes.
Yeah, we didn't have that this year, but it was exciting towards the end.
We did have that in the middle school game where they kicked it to us, and Carson Moore took it all the way in for 98 yards or something. So we don't know if that's a record or not, but they were going to look into it and see. But 98 yards for a middle school 8th grader.
Yeah, that's.
What was the event before the game? Youth
football? We had youth football night. So all of the first, second, third, fourth, basically all the way up to middle school, they were there. And then we also had a little cheerleader night. So we had lots of little football players, lots of little cheerleaders there. We had a pretty big crowd. It was a nice night. The weather turned out to be beautiful. It was a little hot at the beginning, but it cooled off.
Yes.
I don't know. It just was a nice time for the community to come out with good weather to support our kids. It was just a nice vibe. Like there wasn't a whole lot of issues, I don't think. I mean, when you have lots of little kids running around, you're going to have these things here and there. But it was just a nice night for our community.
Who's responsible for the fireworks?
So Michelle Lynch, she has, I believe there is one of our fire chiefs, one of the guys on the fire department has his license to do pyrotechnics. And so he goes out the night before and sets up for us, and then I kind of give him the orders to please stay far,
Was that
far
your
away.
idea to start?
No. Michelle was the one. Michelle and Ryan brought that in.
Oh, did it? That's awesome.
But like you said earlier in the evening, we couldn't see it,
right?
Because we could hear it. But then it was kind of nice at the end with the victory, seeing the fireworks.
Yeah. What are some of the special events coming up this season? Like senior night?
We don't have anything for the South Dearborn game, which is on the 13th. That's the only night we don't have anything crazy as of now. That doesn't mean we won't add something.
Sure.
Homecoming is the 20th. I've been told we are going to have a homecoming parade again, but it's going to start at St. Gabriel's this year and go downtown. So it'll go by the library, so it's not as long, partly just to get the boys out faster.
Would that be on the Friday of the game?
It would be on the Friday of the game. So it'd probably start around 3:15, 3:30.
Yeah.
It'd leave from St. Gabriel's, and it would go down through downtown and into the courthouse. So a smaller route, but hopefully more people will pack in there. Yeah. And then, of course, the homecoming game is on the 20th. And then senior night is on the 4th, and that would be for football, band, Spartanettes, and cheer.
North Decatur is new to the schedule, and who did they replace?
They replaced Speedway.
Okay.
So Speedway didn't want to come down this way anymore, and I think we'd played them 2 years. My first 2 years here. So a lot of times we do a 2-year contract. They were actually changing their conference and how they played their conference games. And so to be able to pick up one of their conference opponents, they had to change their game with us. So we ended up picking up North Decatur for this year. And then next year we have replaced South Dearborn. We are picking up Madison.
We're not playing South Dearborn?
We're not going to play them next year.
But they're in our conference, aren't they?
They are, but we don't have to play them.
Oh,
so
wow.
they're in the bottom portion. So football splits up in divisions.
Oh, that's right,
so top
for divisions,
Yep.
yeah.
So
That's
Lawrenceburg, East Central, and Batesville are the top 3 for us. We have to play them. Yeah. And then Franklin County, Rushville, Greensburg, and South Dearborn are the bottom.
Yeah,
so
I forgot about that.
Technically, we don't have to play them, and so Coach was kind of hoping to get somebody other than another Dearborn school.
Yeah, right.
So we're going to play at Madison Consolidated, which is a little bit of a hike.
Sure.
That's going to be a long drive when we have to go down there. I already know that one. So, but it'll be interesting to see. So we have North Decatur for the next 2 years at least, and then we might see.
I forget where North Decatur's at. I'm trying to think.
Over by Greensburg,
that's
north
what
of Greensburg.
Yeah, that's right.
So basically, it's a Greensburg school.
Greensburg school, Greensburg school, yeah.
How are the other spring sports doing? Tennis and golf? How are they doing?
Our boys golf team just won their home invitational.
Good.
They're playing really well. We've got our singles are all returners. So Colton DeBoard at 1, Anthony Struing at 2, and Clayton Rosella at number 3. And so those gentlemen are playing really well. Our doubles teams have had a few. I think our number 1 doubles team suffered a loss against, who did they play last week? I can't remember. I think it was Shenandoah that they suffered a loss to. But overall, the team is performing very, very well. Girls golf, under direction of Lexi Crutchfield. She's new this year to coaching. So I've had 3 new coaches in girls golf in the 3 years I've been here. Lexi works in the school, so she sees the kids. And so we've got 6 girls on the team, and they're getting better by strokes, numbers of strokes every single meet. So they've won a couple. They've suffered a couple losses, but they are definitely getting a lot better. And I think they're being more confident, too. Right. Girls and boys soccer, they're still kind of early in the season.
Yes.
Their girls soccer team has won and is on a winning streak. Boys soccer team beat Lawrenceburg down at Lawrenceburg the other night, late Saturday night game. Trying to think. Cross country, again, new coach.
Yes.
And this is the third coach in 3 years, I guess, again for cross country. Lots of enthusiasm. Kiddos are hitting PRs already, beginning of the season. So just continuing to keep them healthy, keep them hydrated and functioning. And then the girls volleyball team is under a direction of a new coach again this fall as well. And
Who's the coach
Lauren Edwards is the varsity coach. She was a JV coach last year, so she's a teacher at Fayette Central. Okay. And the girls are just having fun. Got some freshmen that are contributing with some minutes. Very young team. They're fun to watch. I mean, they knocked off Eastern Hancock the other night in 4, and you would have thought they won the Olympics because they were so excited. So it's nice to see the kids having fun and be successful at the same time. And then, of course, our middle school teams are competing. Our soccer team is now officially a middle school soccer sport. And so we have a girls and a boys team. And Mr. Havlicek is trying his hardest to get as many teams as we can. A lot of teams are still co-ed at this level. Yeah. So we're struggling with that. But, yeah, they're working hard. And Connersville High School right now is booming.
I don't think people understand, at least I didn't, because we talked about this before we went on the air, the scope of your guys' arm in this community. I mean, I always thought it was just high school.
Yeah.
But it's not.
No, it's not. It's everything.
Yeah, so you guys
and
definitely...
then the youth, so we have to talk with Parks Department, too, to kind of make arrangements with using their facilities and them using our facilities. But, yeah, we kind of have our hands in a lot of that. The youth basketballs will be starting up here pretty soon with dirt road practices. And, you know, they try to go through us for practices or through the school. So it's a lot. It's a lot to keep tabs on.
The girls volleyball team.
We try to do it somehow.
Girls volleyball team, where do they play?
They play at the field house.
Okay. What other teams are at the field house?
The only other team that plays there is in the winter, and that is boys freshman basketball.
Okay.
Just because the seating is not as big. I don't know. If the girls keep playing volleyball like they are, we may have to move them back to the old gym. Because they're bringing in quite a crowd. So
that's good.
That is a great thing, but it's not air conditioned over there, so they don't like it.
We got to get an air conditioner over there for them.
Okay.
Oh,
baby steps.
Yeah,
baby steps, Ron.
Yeah.
Baby steps.
I had the new superintendent on last week. I should have talked to him about it.
Yeah, he's got a lot of things that he wants to do, and it's positive.
Air conditioning is one of them.
I think that, unfortunately, air conditioning in the old gym is probably towards the bottom. We've got some other things, and like elementary buildings too that are requiring a lot of attention too. So.
And you guys don't do anything with elementary sports?
We do not. There are our teams, our coaches are trying to get into the elementaries and do little league. So our volleyball teams are down there, our boys and girls basketball teams. We allow 6th graders to participate in some of the events. So tennis, cross country, golf, track, wrestling right now. So we do have that opportunity for those kiddos. But as far as getting all the way down in there, not yet. Might need another person on our payroll to be able to go down to first and second grade. So.
How's the new baseball field coming?
Okay. It's coming.
Okay, it's coming.
We have had some kinks with the water and then the electricity, and then the electricity wasn't powerful enough to power the water.
Oh, wow.
So, and then this week they thought that they had a leak in one of the pipes they just put down, but it wasn't. It was a shutoff valve. So I was told that the company will be out this week fixing some parts of the fence.
Yeah.
They killed the weeds last week, so they're going to go out there and try to get it back to where they can lay sod. So hopefully by the beginning of next week, we've got sod laid down.
Be a beautiful
natural grass.
Natural grass, yes. So hopefully we'll get that and then taken care of. But we can't put sod down if we don't have water. And so that was our biggest thing.
Because I parked over there by that, I either didn't know or forgotten that you guys were building that new one to replace the old one.
Well, the lights are up. The fence is
lights,
up.
everything.
Dugouts are there. Yeah, we're just.
Yeah.
They're finishing the bullpens. We've got a scoreboard is in. It just needs to be put up. So everything is there. It's just a matter of getting the sod down, and then of course now the watering and mowing process starts.
It'll be a great field when it's
It will be.
It'll be nice.
And then the angle of it is nice for hitters and the pitchers, and so. It should be great.
Any other improvements underway at CHS?
The pool renovation starts this spring. So they passed that last spring, the school board meeting. So the pool will be getting a facelift. So it happens the end of the swimming season. So I think the end of March is when they're anticipating starting, and then that'll go and through until probably next school year. So they said that they would have it done by swim season next year.
That's good.
That's what we're hoping. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Don't know where we're going to go swim because Rushville doesn't have a pool. So
That's a major undertaking.
It is. Yeah, it is. And I'm excited. I mean, it needs a facelift. It's the same pool I remember from when I was there 20 plus years ago.
Sure.
So.
Yeah. That the things that are happening, the improvements in the program with the field house and because I remember when the soccer fields weren't the soccer fields when I went to high school there. So I mean, it's just amazing. And then of course the soccer fields and the softball fields, and I mean the things that you guys have done over the years to improve the athletics for these kids. I hope they can look back on it when they get older and go, not just the bowl, because when we think of Connersville athletics, we think of the bowl.
Yeah.
But there's so much more great facilities that we have.
We only use the bowl for really 2-3 teams and one season. I mean, that's about all that it's used for. So, I mean, it's a great place and a great place to cherish. And, you know, we make upgrades as we can, but we got a lot of other places that are used even more.
Absolutely.
You played in the bowl, didn't you?
I did.
On some Lady Spartan championship teams?
Yep, we were a sectional and regional and semi-state, almost a semi-state. We didn't make it to the state. Semi-state first.
You got robbed.
That. We got robbed. Yeah,
That was
that's what we're gonna go with.
back in the late 50s?
Yes, in the 50s.
In the late 50s.
90s, 98, 95.
I didn't want
Thanks,
to go there.
Fran.
I just thought
Thanks, Fran.
I thought we had just generalized, you know.
In the 50s, that's really old there, Fran.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Gosh, well, we're happy to have you with us tonight. And,
Thank you.
And again, the Spartans, of course, won their varsity football home winner, 26-20 over Richmond on Friday night. That was great. Some other things going on. CHS boys junior varsity soccer tied Lawrenceburg 0-0. Girls JV soccer beat Triton Central 6-1. Girls varsity soccer won Triton over Triton 4-3. Boys varsity soccer won their conference opener against Lawrenceburg 2-0. Connersville Spartan boys varsity tennis defeated Madison Grant 3-2 and Shenandoah 4-1 to win the Connersville Tennis Invitational. The Spartans are now 6-0 on the season. Great for the
the tennis team is doing well. Like I said, the good thing is about them, if one member of the team or one position doesn't win, the other ones know that they have to pull it out to be able to win as a team. So they've played really well.
We'll be hosting a sectional this year.
We will.
Good.
Yes.
Got a fine facility, tennis.
We do. We do have a nice facility. It was very hot on Saturday, though.
Yeah.
But we do have a nice facility.
It is. It's great. And area for fans to come out and watch.
Yep, absolutely.
And they're blue courts now, aren't they?
No,
They're not blue
yet,
courts
no.
yet? I thought, for some
Not
reason, I
blue.
thought they were.
No, not yet.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so that's in the...
No, that's not number.
Okay. You said
Ron, you're
yes.
trying, Ron.
Yeah,
That's number 10 on the list, maybe.
That's number 10 on the list, yeah. We'll get way down there, yeah.
Coming off the schedule, boys varsity soccer, they will be away at Franklin County today at 5 o'clock. Boys junior varsity soccer will be at Franklin County. That game's been canceled. Girls varsity golf versus Rushville at home at 5. Girls middle school soccer away at Greendale at 5:30. Greendale's Lawrenceburg. Okay, thank you.
Yes, you're good.
7th grade football is away at East Central starting at 5:45. Co-ed middle school cross country is at Greensburg. That starts at 6. Junior varsity football away at Richmond starting at 6. Boys middle school cross country at Greensburg. That starts at 6 o'clock. Boys JV soccer will be playing Indiana Shortridge at 6 o'clock. Boys middle school soccer away at Greendale at 7. On Tuesday, another busy day, boys varsity soccer host East Central at 5. Boys varsity tennis will be at home against South Dearborn at 5. Girls junior varsity soccer will be at Batesville starting at 5:30. Girls volleyball hosting Seton Catholic at 7 o'clock and JV, and the JV game will be at 6 and the varsity at 7:15. Girls varsity soccer will be away at Batesville at 7. On Wednesday, boys varsity tennis will be at Richmond beginning at 5. Girls JV and varsity volleyball will be at Shelbyville Those games will be at 6 and 7:30. The JV at 6 and the varsity at 7:30. On Thursday, boys varsity tennis will be home against Cambridge City at 5. Girls varsity golf will be hosting Centerville at 5 o'clock. Co-ed middle school cross country will be at St. Mary's at 5:30. Girls varsity soccer at Nicetown at 5:30. Girls middle school soccer will be at Greenfield Central at 5:30. Co-ed middle school tennis at Centerville at 5:30. Boys middle school soccer will be at Greenfield Central beginning at 7. On Friday night, it will be the Spartans playing at Franklin County, take on the Wildcats. Kickoff will be at 7 o'clock. On Saturday, co-ed varsity cross country will be away at Rushville with Rising Sun and North Decatur also taking part. That all starts at 9 o'clock. Junior varsity and varsity volleyball home against Batesville beginning at 10 and 11 a.m. Girls varsity soccer away at Hauser at 11 o'clock. Busy schedule.
Busy. Tonight, I think all of the teams but 3 are playing in something, either home or away. So more away tonight than home, but.
And do you try to make an appearance at every game?
So at home, yes. I'm pretty much at something every night at home. Away games, I usually just travel with the bigger sports that the cheer blocks go with because I gotta kind of keep tabs on them. So I usually travel with football and girls and boys basketball. We have so many things at home, it's almost impossible to travel away with our kids. I'd love to, but sometimes it's a lot. I think it's to be a lot. So tonight I'm at JV soccer. Mr. Havlicek is at middle school tennis, and then we have Penny Pfeiffer. She is one of our supervisors, and she is out at the golf course with the girls' golf team. So not as many things at home tonight, but then tomorrow we have more things. But usually on football Fridays, we're all there. All supervisors are there, middle school football games as well. But as you can see, our schedule gets thicker with the middle school soccer in there too now. So we're busy. Transportation loves to hate me sometimes, I think, because we have so many changes and schedule things that we need to go through in times. Like tonight, the boys soccer team is playing on the grass field, not turf, because the heat. The turf temperature at Franklin County is 130 degrees as of noon today.
Wow.
So can't play on it. It's not safe. So I have a feeling we're going to start seeing some of that this week as well.
Yeah, that's going to be, I think, our first time playing on their turf football this Friday. Because they put it in.
Correct. They put it in after,
last year.
Correct.
So,
I think our soccer team, would be the first time. Our football team played on it last year.
Did we?
Yes, we did. It got finished right in time for football season. Same thing with Batesville. Their turf, their goalposts were put up the day of their first football game last season.
Yeah.
So well, I know that they played. Turf fields for Connersville, do they have it here?
We do not.
That's what I thought.
We don't have any.
The coaches don't want them, do they? I mean,
it's 50-50. Some do, some don't.
Really?
Yeah, I think the injuries outweigh the positives with some of them. It would be easier for maintenance, less mowing.
Oh, yes.
You still got to do stuff to the field, but the wear and tear over time, you still have like 10 to 12 years.
But the heat's
turf.
a real problem, isn't it?
The heat is the problem. I'm surprised I haven't heard from Richmond yet for tonight's JV game because they're on turf, but I've called them, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, we don't need that.
No, we don't. No, we don't need that, especially in full pads.
Yeah,
and
no more cramps.
I hope that they've been drinking water like I told them to today.
Well, we wish all the Spartan teams the best of luck on all the coming events and bring home winners.
I hope so. It should be a good week.
Absolutely.
Get your trophy case ready.
I already have one trophy going in it from tennis, so we're ready to go.
Okay.
I love it.
Andrea, thanks so much for joining us. It's been a real pleasure to see you again after the summer vacation, and we know you're in for a big winter coming up with all the sports to cover, and it'll be a job, but you can handle it.
Yep, busy.
Who helps you?
I have Damon Havlicek as my middle school AD, Michael Lathery as our assistant AD, and then Penny Pfeiffer is one of our event supervisors. Okay. So the 4 of us usually tackle it. And then I've got some staff in the office. Katrina's our secretary. And then we have 2 student interns, JC Wilhelm and Jade Green, who are in charge of rosters. So
thanks,
I keep them busy.
Thanks, everybody, for watching this edition of the Spartan Sports Report here on TV3.